10 ways the UK geography secretly impacts your everyday life. The United Kingdom might appear small on a globe, but its geography secretly holds enormous influence over daily living, from winding railways shaped by hills to unpredictable weather ruled by the Atlantic. Geography decides what people eat, how they travel, and even how they speak. These aren't distant textbook facts, but lived experiences that touch everything from commuting patterns to property prices. In this list, we'll explore 10 shocking UK geography facts that prove how the land and sea quietly run everyday life in Britain. 10. The weather that never sits still. The UK is notorious for its unpredictable weather, and geography explains why. Sitting at the crossroads of multiple air masses, polar from the north, subtropical from the south, and maritime from the Atlantic, the British Isles receive constant shifts in wind and pressure. This is why you can have sunshine in the morning, showers at lunch, and clear skies by evening. For instance, Capel Curig in Snowdonia records more than 4,000 millimetres of annual rainfall, while London averages closer to 600 millimetres. Such contrasts exist because the west receives moisture-laden Atlantic winds first, while the east sits in their rain shadow. This geographic tug-of-war explains Britain's obsession with weather. It governs how people dress, layers are essential, influences sports fixtures, and even shapes national culture. Without the unique geography of Britain, daily conversations about sun one minute, rain the next wouldn't exist. 9. Train routes that twist around the land. Britain's geography is written into its railway system. When engineers laid down lines in the 19th century, they had to follow the contours of the land, valleys, rivers, and hills. Unlike in flat countries, UK train journeys are rarely straight. The Settle-Carlisle line is a classic example, curving through the Pennines with viaducts like Ribblehead, a stunning sight but far from efficient. Even modern projects like HS2 have been plagued by rerouting issues to avoid dense urban areas, unstable soils, and hilly regions. This means travel times are longer than straight-line distances suggest. A 200-mile trip can take far longer than expected, simply because geography forces detours. Your daily commute, whether on a suburban train or a cross-country service, is determined by decisions made around rivers and ridges. Geography silently chooses whether you're early, on time, or late. 8. The north-south divide in house prices. Perhaps the most tangible way geography impacts everyday life in the UK is through housing costs. London and the South East, with their geographic proximity to mainland Europe and deep historical ties to trade, became economic hubs. Meanwhile, northern and western areas, once dominated by coal mining, textiles, and shipbuilding, took different paths. Today, this results in a stark divide. According to the UK House Price Index, the average London property costs more than £500,000, while homes in the North East average just over £160,000. Geography-driven economic history fuels this contrast. This impacts where families settle, where students move after graduation, and even migration within Britain. People constantly weigh lifestyle against affordability, with many choosing northern or rural towns for space while enduring higher wages and costs in the south. Geography is the invisible hand behind your rent or mortgage bill. 7. Accents shaped by hills and valleys. Britain is famous for its rich tapestry of accents, and geography played a starring role. Before motorways and mass communication, natural barriers, rivers, hills, and moors isolated communities. People spoke mainly within their own valleys or towns, allowing unique dialects and accents to develop. That's why accents can shift dramatically within short distances. In the northwest, Scouse, Liverpool, and Mancunian, Manchester, differ, even though the cities are less than 40 miles apart. Cornwall's peninsular isolation kept its accent distinct, while the fens of East Anglia shaped their own soundscape. Even today, your voice reflects your local geography. It's a subtle reminder that hills, seas, and valleys didn't just shape trade, they shaped how people in Britain sound when they speak. 6. Floods that redraw daily life. Britain's low-lying areas live under the shadow of floods. The Somerset levels, parts of Yorkshire, and communities along the River Severn all experience regular flooding, dictated by the lay of the land. Heavy rains funnel into valleys, while flat floodplains overflow with little resistance. Flood risk affects more than just emergency planning. It influences house insurance premiums, school closures, commuting routes, and even mental well-being. Families in flood-prone towns often keep sandbags at the ready or live with elevated homes. Coastal geography adds another challenge. The Holderness Coast in East Yorkshire is Europe's fastest eroding coastline, losing almost 2 metres of land each year. Entire communities have relocated, watching geography literally take back the land beneath them. For many, geography isn't something in a textbook, it's lapping at their doorstep. 5. The coastline that shapes the menu. With over 11,000 miles of coastline, the UK's geography sets the table for everyday meals. Seafood dominates because access is never far away. The beloved fish and chips, cod, haddock, or place-fried golden, owe their national status to this maritime geography. Regional diets echo their surroundings. Cornwall historically thrived on pilchards and pasties for miners. Whitstable in Kent is globally famous for oysters. Scottish salmon remains a culinary export tied to rivers and coasts. Even supermarkets reflect geography. Coastal towns enjoy fresher catches, while inland areas depend more on meats, cheeses, and grains. A Sunday roast in Yorkshire and fish in Whitby both tell the same story. Geography guides what you eat. 4. Traffic bottlenecks, carved by nature. Motorways and A roads might look straightforward on a map, but geography dictates every twist and choke point. Natural barriers like rivers, estuaries, and mountains funnel traffic into limited crossings. The Dartford crossing over the Thames carries more than 160,000 vehicles daily, not because planners wanted a bottleneck, but because it was one of the few feasible points to cross. In Scotland, the A82 along Loch Lomond remains narrow and winding because cliffs on one side and water on the other leave little room for expansion. Drivers often blame congestion on poor planning, but the truth is, geography boxed planners into a corner long before the first car appeared. Your daily traffic jam is as much about rivers and hills as it is about rush hour. 3. Scotland's long summer days. Britain stretches farther north than many people realise. Cities like Inverness sit at similar latitudes to parts of Canada, which explains why daylight hours swing dramatically through the seasons. In midsummer, Scotland enjoys nearly 18 hours of daylight, while winter brings endless dark afternoons. For residents, this dictates everything from gardening seasons to energy bills and even mood. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is more common in higher latitudes, while midsummer festivals embrace lingering twilight. Geography doesn't just set the clock, it changes how people feel day to day. Whether you're walking home at midnight with the sun still glowing or switching on lamps at 3 p.m. in December, latitude is shaping your everyday life. 2. The rain shadow effect. If you've ever wondered why Manchester has its wet reputation while Norwich often stays dry, geography has the answer. The rain shadow effect occurs when moist Atlantic air hits upland areas like Snowdonia, the Lake District, and the Pennines. The air rises, cools, and dumps rain. By the time it reaches the east, it's much drier. This simple process divides the country's lifestyle. Western regions flourish with green dairy pastures, while eastern counties specialise in crops like wheat and barley. Even gardeners adjust their choices. Ferns thrive in Wales, while lavender fields stretch across Kent. Geography, in short, decides what grows, what people eat, and even what colour the landscape is outside your window. 1. Islands within the island. Though often referred to as the island, the United Kingdom is a collection of thousands. Beyond Great Britain and Northern Ireland lie islands like the Isle of Wight, Orkney, Shetland, Anglesey, and the Hebrides. Life on these islands is geography-driven. Daily essentials, food deliveries, mail, even medical access depend on ferry timetables and weather conditions. A storm can delay supplies for days. Islanders often pay higher prices for groceries and fuel, not by choice, but because geography demands it. For those who live on smaller islands, geography isn't background scenery, it is the rule book. Every plan, every trip, every bite of food is written by the sea. United Kingdom geography facts aren't just trivia, they are the blueprint of daily life. From house prices to accents, meals to commutes, Britain's geography shapes more than you realise. Next time you grab an umbrella, sit in traffic, or hear a new accent, remember, you're experiencing the hidden ways geography quietly runs the UK. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell.